All right, hello everybody. I'll just start my little video here. You can all see me. I'm just going to open up the chat window. Can you please type in if you can hear me okay? Oops. Where's that one? Alrighty, so welcome all you beautiful, amazing women. I've created this PowerPoint presentation titled Women's Empowerment Essentials. So pretty much what you're going to learn in this, I'll just minimize this as well, is how you can use your doTERRA essential oils, why you would choose doTERRA in the first place, what they are, how to use them. The power of aroma I'll go a little bit into because that's a passion of mine. And I have created a selection of, in my personal opinion, what I feel are the must-have essential oils for you to have on hand to start to cultivate and develop your medicine cabinet, which is what I affectionately call my oils. And that you can remind yourself that you have these beautiful tools for your personal empowerment, and it doesn't matter where you are on your journey and what you are seeking. Sometimes we do forget that we have these beautiful plant medicines available to us, and I really want to remind us all today that they're there and they're really easy to use and really effective as well. And then at the end I'll show you how to get access to the products if you haven't already, and if somebody has introduced you to this webinar journey this morning, I just want to acknowledge them for inviting you into this space, because I know it's kind of been plastered all over the internet. So let's kick off. For those of you who do not know me or haven't heard of me before, my name is Donna Raymond. I'm a wise woman, and I'm a sacred feminine mentor, emotional alchemist, and one of my big passions is to create transformational healing journeys. They totally come through me, through the spiritual realms, and I have an ability to create memorable journey work that ultimately provides women with a platform to cultivate emotional resilience. And I am a firm believer that emotions are a fundamental pathway for personal empowerment and personal development. And when we understand how they work, they don't have so much power or control over us. And that way we can move through life more gracefully as a sovereign, empowered individual. So I've been working specifically with women in regards to embodiment practices, emotional alchemy, womb wisdom, ancestral healing, shadow work, personal empowerment, transformational healing, and there's mentoring and entrepreneurial coaching all in there as well. So part of the reason why I chose to incorporate the essential oils more fully into the work that I facilitate with women is because they have a really powerful way of supporting women through journey work, or what I like to call journey work. And it just became a little bit of a no-brainer for me, and the plants were actually calling. They were calling me, and I kind of resisted it for a little while. I have been using essential oils for over 10 years now, but probably more invested in the therapeutic and spiritual qualities of the essential oils for a couple of years now. So I'd just like to invite you in this moment to really become present in this space. And before we begin our journey together, I would encourage you to just close your eyes. And for most of us women, it can be a little bit of a challenge to find those spaces in between all of the responsibilities and commitments that we have in our life. So I invite you to close your eyes. And if you're in an upright seated position, place your feet on the ground so that you can feel them firm and flat. Otherwise, if you're lying, just relax into your body, allowing your shoulders to soften, the palate in your mouth to soften, so that's the tongue and the jaw, and really kind of draw your awareness into that space to release and to let go. And taking deep breaths deep into the belly, into the womb space. letting out any sounds if you need to, bringing your awareness into your body and what your body is telling you in this moment, and focusing on all the sounds that might be around you, the external sounds, the sounds of your breath, your body moving. I encourage you to place your hands on your heart and just breathing in love and gratitude for you, you amazing, beautiful Wonder Woman. And giving thanks for taking some time today to learn a little bit more, or perhaps to refresh your memory on things that you already know. And just honoring that space. And I want to acknowledge all of you for coming today or this evening, wherever you are in the world. It is a privilege to be able to share this space with you and to provide some education and some tools for your personal empowerment. And I really hope that what I share with you today resonates with you, and that you can also take this wisdom and share it with other women. I really love supporting women, and I love seeing women support other women from that heart space, so that we can all guide each other home back to finding peace inside of our hearts and our minds and our bodies. So thank you, and away we go. All right, so doTERRA has been known as the gift of the earth. It roughly translates, it is a Latin word. And I just want to share a little bit about doTERRA first and foremost, and then we'll go into the particular oils. And this, for those of you that are unfamiliar with doTERRA and this is the first time that you're hearing this information, I really welcome you to take as much on board. You don't need to take notes, because I will be posting the replay in the groups and on my personal page as well. But I also encourage you to do your own research. Yeah, like, in anything, whatever anybody shares with you, you can feel resonance in that, but it is always imperative to seek that information for yourself, so that you are taking that responsibility of your wellness journey into your own hands, and that way you won't be walking through this blindly at all. So a big draw card to doTERRA for me was the quality and purity of the essential oils. So doTERRA is the world's largest and leading essential oil company. They actually have created the CPTG, which stands for Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade, a trademark for their essential oils. And the reason being is that not all essential oils are created equally. And the fact is that throughout the global industry, I suppose, for essential oils, there is no governing body that regulates the quality of the essential oils. So what that means is that you could go into your local discount store or department store and you could find some essential oils. I know in Australia, Kmart now stocks essential oils and they're around $2 a bottle, right? And you might find written on some of these bottles that it says therapeutic grade, but the reality is that there is nobody regulating that. So what doTERRA has done, they have taken a stand for the industry and to really create that intention of a company that strives to create transparency and quality pure essential oils. So they've created the CPTG trademark. And what that means is that every single batch of oil goes through rigorous testing. And it's not just in-house, meaning within the doTERRA company itself. They actually get it third-party tested as well. And the reason being is that you can assure that the quality and the feedback that you're getting from these analysis from that is coming from that neutral perspective and is validating the purity of these essential oils. Now, doTERRA also goes a step further with that as well. And this is one of the many things that I really love about doTERRA, is they release the Source to You project. And what that means is there's a website you can go to, source2you.com. And on the bottom of each bottle, there will be a batch code, and you can actually type that into the website and get a chemical analysis of that particular batch. Now, I don't know of any other company that is creating that transparency with their products, and I know that it's something that I can totally get behind. One thing I've also heard as well with respects to the CPTG is that yes, doTERRA does own this trademark, but they've also opened it up so that if any other company can do the testing that doTERRA does to prove the purity and quality of the essential oils, then I'm pretty sure that they are welcome to use that CPTG trademark as well. So when you hear in respects to that, yes, it's a doTERRA owned trademark, you're coming into the integrity of the company and kind of scaling it back as the reason why they have created that is to create a stand in the market, to stand forward and to create that that level, that's kind of seal that we can trust, that shows us that yes, these oils are certified pure and that they actually have the science and the chemical analysis to back it up. So that really creates peace of mind working with these oils, because you can be assured that they have been rigorously tested and that any batches of oil that don't meet that testing quality, they just don't get passed through to consumers and they're actually discarded as well. So if ever you find another brand of oil that is saying that, you know, they use the oils from doTERRA that didn't get passed through, that's factually incorrect. And I just wanted to mention that because I'm quite critically minded and I do a lot of research on the internet and I kind of listen to what's happening in the industry, and that's a few things that I've picked up from some of my research as well. So the standout heart-based practices of doTERRA is what sets doTERRA apart from other essential oil companies. Now, the biggest difference is the fact that doTERRA do not own their own farms. So what they do is they've actually created the co-impact partnership, and through co-impact sourcing, they will actually find and source sustainable plants, materials that they can use to harvest from farmers that are already growing these plants wherever they either A, have indigenously been grown, or wherever they're thriving, and that is to do with soil conditions and climate as well. Sustainability is the backbone of doTERRA, and they are totally invested in creating sustainable partnerships wherever they are sourcing their plants. So the beautiful part about co-impact partnership is that doTERRA sources their essential oils from over 40 countries around the world, and a lot of those countries are what we consider in the Western world developing nations. So the beautiful part about this is doTERRA can come in and they create co-ops with these farmers, growers and distillers, and they will actually pay above fair trade wages on time, and it takes out the middleman or any kind of brokers in that sense. So they're actually cultivating a mutually beneficial relationship with the people on the ground. And that is really beautiful to know that, you know, where we're sourcing our essential oils from and where we're getting them from is that we're actually going into these places and providing change, and it drives the economy in a lot of these countries as well, so that these communities can actually lift themselves out of poverty through their own initiatives as well, and to create their own businesses. And for me, that's really beautiful to know that I'm a part of one, sustainability, and that wherever these plants are being sourced is that there is a mutually beneficial relationship. It's not like this company is going in and just extracting what they need for high profits. doTERRA doesn't work that way, and that's really beautiful to know, particularly if you're a conscious consumer. Yeah. So moving on from that, a big calling for me and why I decided to align my business with doTERRA and why you find me teaching essential oil classes and incorporating doTERRA into my transformational healing work and courses is the Healing Hands Foundation. And this for me, it totally captivated my heart. I can't speak of it highly enough, and I really encourage you to research this further. So the Healing Hands Foundation is it's the heart, the philanthropic heart of doTERRA. And so what they do is, with a lot of these co-impact partnerships within these countries, doTERRA will go in and they will ask, what do these communities need? How can we help? And that's a really they're really beautiful questions to ask, because it's not going in with a mission of, what the company thinks community needs and then, providing all this stuff that may not be necessary. It's asking those really important questions, which helps to empower communities because they have choice in that. And that way doTERRA can match the influence that they have with the needs of people in developing countries. So a few Healing Hands projects that have been completed and initiated was in Haiti, where we source our vetiver. There was a new water well. Just check this check. Oh, beautiful, Sophie. I'll just close this chat down. Hang on a second. This is the fun of technology for me. So in vetiver, they created a new water well. Now, from the research that I've done, and you can find this, it's all on doTERRA.com, the main website, which is based in the US. You can have a look at the Healing Hands Foundation there. A lot of children were actually missing out on school and a lot of other opportunities for being children, really, because they would have to go and walk miles to go and collect the water. So doTERRA has come in and provided funding and resources necessary to create fresh flowing running water. So that's freed up these children that, did have to go and source this water, and now they can go back into school, which I think is really beautiful. Working on that education level in Somalia, where our frankincense, part of our frankincense is sourced from. doTERRA has come in with the Healing Foundations and actually helped to build schools. And a huge calling to my heart from working with women as well is that one of the driving needs for this school as well is they had to include young girls into that education process as well, which is so beautiful. Days for Girls is really close to my heart as well, because I work within the Red Tent movement. So that's, menstrual cycle awareness and claiming the women's mysteries and womb wisdom. So what the Days for Girls initiative is that wellness advocates come together and they actually create little co-ops, in the sense that they come together and they sew and create menstrual cloths and hygiene products. So they then send that to corporate, and then when they go on their philanthropic endeavours, they will go to different areas in need and distribute these hygiene packs for young girls. And not only that, they're actually providing education for these young women. And why that's really important to know is that in a lot of countries where young girls don't have access to feminine hygiene products, the things that we take for granted living in the countries that we do, is a lot of these young girls grow up with a lot of shame about being a woman. They're cast out. It's considered taboo to talk about their menstrual cycle. And they grow up with the feelings of being dirty or unworthy or less than. So by creating these menstrual hygiene products for these young girls, it allows them to feel empowered by being a young woman, and having that education as well is quite empowering. And it also enables them to not miss out on opportunities that they would have before. And a lot of that is to do with education. And I love the fact that doTERRA is a part of this as well. Another beautiful initiative is the Nepal earthquake that happened a few years ago. doTERRA, because they'd already established I don't know why this red drawing is going everywhere on my slide. Because doTERRA had already established relationships, because our wintergreen is sourced in Nepal, after the earthquakes, the government had clamped down on foreign aid coming through. And since we already had the co-impact partnerships there, doTERRA was able to actually channel funding directly into the communities that were affected by these earthquakes. And they raised over $636,000. And that's just from the wellness advocates, which I think is so beautiful that we could actually channel funds directly. And why this is important to know is, if you've ever researched into a lot of, big aid companies or charity companies, a lot of those funds that are developed actually get swept up in administration costs. So, it doesn't trickle down to the people that are actually in need. So this is a huge thing. I'm just going to check my chat. Yeah, it is. Wow, it's so amazing. And this is why I really wanted to focus on this before the products, because this is the bit that totally captured my heart. I'm going to see if I can just delete I don't know where these, I don't know if you can see these little red lines coming through, and I don't know how they're coming up on my screen. But anyway, I'll keep going. All right, now I need to share this because this is what captured me. Now, I actually joined doTERRA without trying any of their products. I'd heard of it before, and I was using Young Living essential oils, so I'd understood, higher quality essential oils. And doTERRA had kind of come into my periphery. I'd seen it online a bit, and I was like, And then the time came where it was like, Spirit was telling me, like, no, you need to look at this. And so I started researching the company. And the biggest the thing that really got me on board was this initiative, and it is the Operation Underground Railroad Rescue Partnership. And why this is huge for me is, I don't know about you, but as a mother, or even before I was a mother, I treat all children like they're my own. I have a very strong maternal instinct and a very strong nurturing and protective heart. And what Operation Underground Railroad Rescue is, it's an initiative that goes into areas where there is prolific child exploitation and sexual trafficking, so child sex slavery pretty much. And what they do is they go in there, and they're not just raising awareness, they're actually removing children from these experiences. I get really teary when I talk about this. So what doTERRA has done with their partnership is they created the Hope Blend, which you'll see on your screen. And initially, they had a special label printed, which you could remove part of it. And then on the inside of the label, it had all the necessary contact details for safe houses. And they distributed this in areas that they knew where this was prolific. And it helped to actually remove children out of these really just disgusting experiences. And why this really strikes a chord with me, with my strong morals and ethics, is the fact that I completely understand that as a white woman that has grown up in Australia and lives in Australia, I have so many privileges, right? And it breaks my heart knowing that there are women, children, and men out there in the world that suffer because of the country that they were born into, or the circumstances that they were born into, or because there's poverty. It completely tears at me, and it's one thing being a highly sensitive empath that over years had been almost debilitating because I could see this problem and didn't know how I could play a part or how I could help. And then seeing that doTERRA has partnered with Operation Underground Railroad, knowing that when I purchase this oil, and I aim to do it every couple of months on my orders, is not 10%, not 20%, but 100% of the earnings from the Hope Oil go towards funding Operation Underground Railroad. So in 2016, I'm pretty sure it was, they actually raised over $500,000, that's $500,000, to help fund the operations, and they built a new policing unit which is now tackling the dark web, the cyber realm of it, because most of us that are, quite internet savvy know that it's not just, happening on the ground, that there's the whole sexual tourism. It starts on the web, and it's pretty disgusting, and that's where we need to break the cycle as well. So knowing that as a conscious consumer with my money, buying beautiful, pure oils that I can gift my loved ones and also use myself because Hope smells so beautiful, I can be a part of creating that change. And the power is in numbers with this. The more that we gather together and support this, the more that we can drive finances to actually invest in these types of projects. So that was a huge, yes, I'm totally in for me. And it really got my heart on board 100%. And that's when I started to see the heart of doTERRA more clearly and to go, wow, this company is based with integrity. They have strong morals and ethics as well. And they really are about creating change and empowering other people and creating beautiful relationships in the world. So moving on. So the essential oils for the mind, body, and soul. I'm just going to go through these rather quickly, and I'm quite open to creating a discussion after as well. So these are the essential oils that, I'll go through how we use essential oils, but also going through the oils that I feel that you should be having on hand as a woman. So just quickly, what are essential oils? They're highly volatile aromatic compounds sourced from plant material. Yeah, so the essential oil is, if you've ever had an aromatic plant, so for instance, most people use fresh culinary herbs, right? If you rub them together in your hands and that you're smelling the aroma release, that's the essential oil that's being released from the plants, yeah? So we can extract them via steam distillation, or if it's a citrus oil, we cold press them from the rinds, and we get them from the leaves, stems, flowers, fruit, bark, roots, and seeds. So how do you use essential oils? Essential oils are used aromatically, so that means you can inhale them directly from the bottle. You can use a diffuser, or sometimes they're called like a nebulizer or an atomizer, where it's just using the straight essential oil, or you can use some essential oil diffusing jewelry. Yeah. The second way to use them is topically, so we can apply them diluted to the skin or hair, and we can use them in a bath, in a body balm, or a spritz. And my personal favorite is to use them in a foot bath. And because doTERRA are certified pure therapeutic grade, it has been suggested that we can use them internally, so that's orally with veggie caps or in a drink. Now, I just want to share with this, there's two realms of, or schools of aromatherapy, and one is completely against ingesting essential oils, and there's a new school of aromatherapy that's saying it is safe if the essential oils are of a pure quality. The interesting thing about essential oils, just quickly, this is one of my little crazy tangents, is that, essential oils have been around for a long time. It's not a new thing to be using. It's just the awareness now of more people turning towards natural solutions. We're starting to see a demand for these products. Now, where there's demand, it drives more research into it. So I would probably say, a decade ago, there was no science involved in the use of essential oils. We didn't know too much about them. But now there is more demand. We're starting to invest more time, energy, and money into exploring the benefits and understanding how essential oils work for our body on a physiological level. doTERRA is driving this as well. They are investing so much money into scientific studies for the biological effects, and also for medicinal purposes as well, to start using them as supportive therapy modalities as well. So in that, I just encourage you to trust your body wisdom, do your own research on that. If you feel uncomfortable taking them internally, then you don't have to. Nobody is pressuring you to do that. And if you do feel comfortable, then research the safety guidelines from doTERRA of how you can use them safely. So safety first. I'll put my little safety first hat on. Always read the label before use. So sometimes we forget until you've been using essential oils for a while and you've built up a relationship with your oils and you understand them a bit. You need to become familiar with each oil and how to use them. Always dilute your essential oils with a carrier oil of choice. Once again, until you begin to explore the way that you respond to the essential oils. So for me, for instance, I don't have skin sensitivities to a lot of oils, so I know that I can apply them neat, but I don't go and share that with everybody. I always encourage people to use them diluted, and the reason being is that everybody is different. Yeah, the way that my body works is so completely different to the way that your body works, and we really want to encourage safe practice of using essential oils because they are so potent. Less is more with these. We're literally only using a drop or two at a time. So for instance, peppermint oil, it's equivalent. So one drop of peppermint oil is about 28 cups of tea. So when you start to think about that, you're like, oh wow, they are really strong. They are stronger than fresh plants and dried herbs. So really keep that in mind. So a word of caution with using citrus oils is they are photosensitive. So what that means is this: if you are going to use them, apply them where the sun don't shine. And I would avoid going out into direct sun, particularly in Australia. We've got quite brutal sun. I know it's the same sun, right? It's just that different areas, the sun feels more intense. And Australia, we have some pretty intense sun. So I would avoid going out in the sunlight if I've applied that topically to my wrist. And the reason being is it can create an aggravated sunburn. Yeah. Store your oils safely. Keep them out of reach of children. And even if you're working with young children, let them know. I constantly tell my kids that they can't use my essential oils without asking permission first, and that's just to keep them safe. We want to avoid having them in direct sun, and don't store them in your car. Yeah, you want to avoid the eye area, mucous membranes, your genitals, your armpits, and your nipple areas, and always use common sense. Now, this is a bit tricky because as you mature, I don't know about you, but sometimes you begin to realize that common sense isn't actually so common, right? So now I'm just going to be sharing the power of aroma. So I believe, and it has been said through a lot of people using essential oils from that spiritual level, that they are a gift from the divine. It's like, where does aroma come from? It seems otherworldly. So rose, for instance, it's been revered and has been treated as a sacred aroma and a sacred oil. It's been used in a lot of ceremonies and spiritual ceremonies throughout many different cultures that had access to the rose. It is very intoxicating, and it is also to be considered one of the highest vibrational medicine oils as well. So the power of scent, this is really fascinating to know. So that scent is one of the first of the 5 senses to develop in utero. So a baby can actually perceive smells from the external world as it passes through the amniotic fluid. And when I learnt this, I was completely blown away. Now, I knew that a lot of flavors, kind of passed through the milk onto the mother, but then learning about the imprinting stages of sensory information while child is in utero, I find is completely fascinating. And where this lends for, I guess, curiosity is, sometimes we have an attachment to particular aromas that we can't quite pinpoint, and perhaps they're passed down intergenerationally, or perhaps they're passed through because of our mother's environment. So smell influences our ability to taste. So smell and taste equals flavor. If you do not have the smell receptors, or that you don't have the capacity to smell, then a lot of the taste that you will be experiencing will be quite bland. I know my cousin, she was a severe asthmatic. She can't smell properly anymore. So I know that that impacts the way that she experiences the taste sensation. So smell can trigger powerful emotional responses, both on a conscious and subconscious level. And this is what draws me to using aromatherapy through transformational healing modalities. And how this works is the aroma, the scent, passes through the olfactory bulb, which is located at the bridge of the nose, and it actually goes directly to the amygdala, where it crosses the blood-brain barrier and then enters into the limbic system. All other senses that we have bypass the thalamus. So smell is the only one that goes directly to the brain, which is super amazing, right? So why it's interesting to know about the limbic system is the oldest part of our brain, right? And it is responsible for our emotional responses and also our stored memories. So this becomes really fascinating to know that smell can activate our memories, but it can also create strong emotional surges and responses. But what's even more powerful is that we can use aroma for our own sense of empowerment through what I like to call aromatic anchors, and we can actually program our brain to create positive emotional responses when we're in those undesirable emotional states or crises. Yeah. So using essential oils aromatically, they can influence the mood, emotional, and in my opinion and experience, they help to facilitate healing on many different levels. So they can be used any time of the day, and they are safe and effective, and they're affordable. That's the beautiful part. Because we're only using a drop or 2 at a time, it does become really affordable to have these medicines on hand. So as I mentioned before, that they can actually influence our memories and emotional responses. And this goes back, have you ever, if you go back to your childhood, maybe you remember the fresh smell of cut grass, or, barbecues, or, perhaps there was a tree that used to bloom in your backyard and it's got a lot of emotional charge around it. That's because of the limbic system being activated. So now I'm just going to share with you the must-haves, what I feel are the must-have oils for feminine empowerment, and oils that I have been working with personally. And this is not just for emotional support. I'm talking about, yeah, your moods and emotions, but I'm talking about your immune system, your hormones, and to amplify your sensual feminine energy. And a lot of women that I work with, particularly modern women, we are so overburdened. We're running in complete adrenal fatigue with all of the things that we're doing and managing, and then everything that we're thinking about at the same time, that sometimes we don't create that space to be and to allow our sensuality to flow. And that is the gift of the feminine, is radiance. And that's what I want to share with you today, is ways in which you can come back into the moment and really express your sensual, radiant beauty, which is a core essence of your femininity. So, first, this was the kit that I joined with, and it's some of my favorite oils, and it's the emotional aromatherapy oils. These are blends, proprietary blends that doTERRA has created. So you've got Motivate, which is like your peppermint citrusy oil. It's really uplifting and charging. If you're feeling like you're in a little bit of a lull, or you've got stuff to do and you're procrastinating, Motivate is your oil. I would caution this, that, you know, if you really want to sleep, I wouldn't use this in the late afternoon, particularly if you're quite energetically sensitive, because you might, you know, have that amplified energy where it might be a little bit challenging for you to come back into that nice, mellow, relaxing space. Cheer is a really beautiful, uplifting blend. So it's fantastic if you're feeling a little bit glum, feeling a little bit overwhelmed, perhaps nothing's going right at the moment, or you've just received a little bit of a knockback of, maybe you're working on a project and you got a few no's or rejections or things like that. Cheer is a really beautiful, uplifting blend. I like to apply that diluted onto the heart, and I also love to diffuse the cheer. Passion is one of my all-time favorite oils. It's really spicy and sweet. I'm a Scorpio, so I kind of like that deep, spicy, earthy smells. Passion's really beautiful if you feel like you've lost your mojo, or you're feeling like you're removed from your creativity, your expression. Diffuse some passion or apply that topically. I actually use that as a perfume, and it's really fantastic to, you know, connect with your sensual expression. It's got some really beautiful qualities to really activate and awaken your sexual energy as well, and sexual energy that can be used to be channeled into creative projects, but also to be working with your beloved and intimate partners, or even just working on that self-love level as well. Now, Forgive is a very powerful blend, and I love to share this in a lot of healing workshops that I facilitate. Forgiveness is at the crux of a lot of transformational healing work, and this is a really beautiful oil to support us in that process of forgiveness. And a lot of that forgiveness is actually directed at self. It's not towards other people or to, you know, get other people off the hook. It's actually to forgive ourselves from the experiences or the way we responded to things. I love to use forgiveness when I'm a little bit disappointed in myself, or perhaps I've, you know, acted unconsciously in a way and said stupid things. And it just allows me to just, you know, it's like giving myself a nice, beautiful, nurturing hug, and to say, hey, it's okay and we can do better next time. Console is a really beautiful, it's an inwards blend. It's really reflective. It's a comforting blend. So it's fantastic to use if you're grieving a loved one that's just passed, grieving any sense of loss, whether that's a relationship, a dog, you know, maybe your garden wasn't watered and you lost some plants and that's been a little bit devastating, or maybe you've lost a sense of self. Console is a really beautiful blend to apply to the heart and breathe in deeply to give you that kind of nurturing support to move through some challenging emotions. And then Peace, the reassuring blend. This is one of my eldest daughter's favorite blends. She likes to use this at night time. Just to relax her into that space so that she can go to bed peacefully. She transitioned into her new room. So for her, it allows her to get out of the story in her head and the anxiety that she feels from the stories that she's creating in her head, and it just allows her to come back into her breath and into the moment. It's a really beautiful oil to diffuse, to create that calming tranquility in your environment. Mood management oils, these are some of my favorite oils as well. Lavender Peace, it's also known as Serenity on other markets, so in the United States and maybe the UK, I'm not sure on that. It's a really beautiful, calming, grounding blend. So it's got the lavender and then it's mixed with the vetiver. Vetiver is a root and it really brings you inwards. This is fantastic to use if you have little children as well. I like to diffuse this at night time. You can then mix this with balance for some really beautiful calming energy when you feel a little bit overwhelmed. Maybe you're too much in your head, too much mental chatter. Mix that with the balance and the lavender piece. You can layer that and apply that topically, breathe in deeply, or diffuse that as well. Balance is fantastic if you're feeling really stressed, overwhelmed, just in that kind of state of chaos where you're not feeling centered. It'll allow you to come back, and I find it's really fast acting as well. Citrus Bliss, the invigorating blend, this is fantastic to use to stimulate you and to enliven you. Diffuse this in the morning to create that joy. I think of citrus, I think of summer and activity and sunshine and rainbows, and Citrus Bliss really kind of brings you into that joyful state as well. Word of caution for this one, if you have little people at home, I would advise not to diffuse this after 4 o'clock if you want to wind down into your evening rituals, because it does create that chatty kind of uplifting energy. Elevation, this is an interesting blend for me. I didn't really like it when I first started using it, and now I love it. There's a depth to it that has become revealed to me, and it is really beautiful, I find, to help snap me out of a funk. If I'm feeling quite depressive, or I feel like the wind has been taken out of my sails, if I'm just overwhelmed, completely sleep deprived, elevation really, it kind of just snaps me out of it, and it's like all the crud just kind of just falls away, and I can remember who I am and come into that state of creation energy, which I wield naturally. So lemon oil is oil of focus. This is a really powerful oil in general on multiple applications. So whether it's just in the home environment for physical support or emotional support and spiritual support, yeah, it's really cleansing. It's quite powerful to use. I love to use it because it's a citrus, so it kind of snaps me out of that funk, but I actually like to use it topically because of the cleansing properties as well. And I find that it helps with, I actually used it when I was pregnant, a lemon. I was using just lemon in its sense from an actual lemon, not the lemon oil. I was using lemon as a cleansing agent while I was pregnant and to help with the fluid retention. I came upon doTERRA after I'd already had Luca, and I did some research into the lemon oil. It's really fantastic for fluid retention. You can apply that topically, and I shared that with a couple of pregnant mamas who had fantastic results to alleviate the swelling in the hands and feet, because I know with me it was really full on towards the end of my pregnancy. Lavender, this is, the ones that the common oils that you should generally have on hand anyway. It's called the oil of community. If you think of big lavender fields, yeah, it's quite welcoming. I find that it's really calming and soothing. I only use a little bit because lavender for me is quite overpowering as a scent, because I'm quite sensitive to that. And so I will dilute that. And I use lavender on the soles of my feet. I use it on my children as well when, they're a little bit ratty and a bit full on, just to kind of bring them into their body and to relax. I love to apply lavender to my foot baths as well. I would apply it to my bath if I had a bath. So if you have a bath, lavender would be really soothing for you as well. Lavender is antimicrobial, antibacterial, and it's an analgesic as well, so it's really beautiful to use for menstrual cramps as well, just for a little gentle pain relief. Frankincense is one of my all-time favorite oils now. I never liked frankincense until I tried doTERRA, and then I was like, whoa, what is this? So it's called the oil of truth, and that totally resonates with me. I will apply that topically, and I will breathe that in the morning, and I find within about 3 to 5 minutes, I'm just like, whoo, totally on purpose, totally connected with what I want to do with the day. I actually would blend that with lavender and frankincense. I'd do a drop on each wrist, rub them together, and I found that that snapped me out of my mum zombie energy in the morning, and I wasn't so snappy on my children. It really just brought me back into the moment and into that space of clarity and just ease and peace. Yeah. Tea tree is known as the oil of energetic boundaries. So if you are in a journey at the moment through your personal development of learning about setting boundaries and how beneficial they can be, Melaleuca or tea tree is a really beautiful oil to be working with that. You can use that in a diffuser. I would actually create a little spray as well and use that around you. I would be using that in a spray. I'd spray my hands. If I had to be around somebody that maybe I needed to deliver my truth to, or create and establish that boundary, just to kind of cleanse myself in that space beforehand. It's a really powerful oil, tea tree, and that's grown in Australia as well. Easy Air, also known as Breathe, is a really beautiful oil, one for respiratory support. So all healing modalities come back to the power of breath. Yeah. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, stressed, all the feelings, don't forget to take a deep breath. And knowing that we can connect with our breath can help to alleviate a lot of these feelings, just to create that moment. I find that applying Easy Air diluted, and I rub that on my chest, it takes away that restriction and that clamping down feeling when I start to have anxious feelings, when I'm worrying about things in the future, when I'm taken outside of the now. I like to use Easy Air to just kind of awaken that area, and it really expands the lungs and that chest cavity as well. It allows me to take a deeper breath and to slow down a little bit more. On Guard is one of my favorite oils, and the reason being, on a spiritual level, it is like the smudge of the oil world. It's a powerful blend because of the cinnamon, rosemary, clove in it. They're really powerful blends to use, like protective blends. It's fantastic for environmental support. So if you've got environmental pathogens or seasonal allergies, all those types of things, you can diffuse that to help in your space. But I actually like to create this in a spritzer blend, and I'll actually apply a drop underneath my feet if I'm doing any ceremonial work where I'm holding space for a lot of people. Because I'm an empath, I really need to protect my personal energetic boundaries so that I can actually step up and facilitate in the best way possible. So there's no kind of blurry energetic lines. I love to mix On Guard with lemongrass. Lemongrass is a powerful cleansing oil. It is fantastic for rituals around the new moon. If you're working to manifest the new, and you're kind of cleaning out the old debris, perhaps you've gone through a journey of getting rid of clutter, or you've left a relationship, any type of relationship, lemongrass is a really beautiful cleansing oil to just kind of sweep the slate clean. Bergamot, oil of self-acceptance. I really love bergamot. It's got a really beautiful nurturing quality to it, and it's another one of my eldest daughter's favorite oils. It helps her with her self-confidence, and also to know she's a little bit odd like me, super empathic, sensitive, quite quirky, a little bit dark and mysterious, and she feels like she's a little bit of a misfit. Yeah, and I feel that way too sometimes. So bergamot allows me to come into that space to go, hey, it's okay to be me, and I actually love and accept myself for who I am. I may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I'm okay with that. So it's a really powerful oil to be working with your self-development work. Ginger is the oil of empowerment. I love ginger. Actually, this just arrived in my order yesterday. It's really beautiful. Had applied it, smothered myself in it yesterday with some fractionated coconut oil. It's quite zingy and uplifting, and it kind of, for me, it gave me a little bit of oomph, like a little bit of go, a little bit of a backbone if you will. That's how I experience the qualities of this oil, and it makes sense that it's called the oil of empowerment. Yeah, so it's really beautiful to also help with tummy upsets and bloating, and it's got antioxidant qualities as well. Oops. So rosemary is interesting. I used to sleep with fresh sprigs of rosemary beside my bed when I was a young teenager. I don't really know why. I've just always loved the scent of rosemary. So it is known as the oil of knowledge and transition. Yeah, it's really energizing. It stimulates and promotes mental clarity. So if you're studying or working on a project that you really need your focus, like really clear focus on, rosemary is a really beautiful oil to work with. It's actually really fantastic for hair as well. And you can actually mix that with frankincense for a really powerful kind of blend to keep you in alignment with your purpose work. So now we're going to go into hormone support, which I feel that a lot of women need more education around, and we're kind of left in the dark when we journey through our teens, and then we become women and mothers, and then our hormones go all out of whack. Yeah, so patchouli, known as the oil of physicality. Patchouli is really fantastic for skin. So if you're finding that, you know, you've got hormonal outbreaks or whatever, you can add a drop or two to your normal skincare routine, and it really helps with wrinkles as well. Patchouli is really grounding for your emotions, and you can actually combine that with peppermint to create a really strong grounding blend. They say that you're not quite hippie enough unless you've got your patchouli. So I think that's quite funny, actually, because I know that, you know, back in the 90s, that a lot of the potpourri that we used to find had a lot of patchouli in it. Ylang Ylang or Ylang Ylang, sometimes I find it a bit challenging pronouncing this, is the oil of the inner child. It's known as the flower of flowers, yeah, and it's fantastic to help for any premenstrual tension or around your bleed when you're just feeling a bit blah. Perhaps, you know, you're a bit bloated, feeling a lot of tension in the womb. Really apply that ylang ylang with love and nurturing. So it's really fantastic for aromatic dressing as well. It's a powerful aphrodisiac. Now, if you think of it, flowers are like the sex organs of plants. Yeah. So when we start to work with flower medicine, they're really beautiful to awaken our sensuality and our sexuality as well. And ylang ylang is really beautiful for mood support as well. So clary sage. Now, a lot of people, you know, kind of in two minds about clary sage. The smell is a little bit different to get used to. I personally really enjoy it. It's really powerful for hormonal support around your menstrual cycle, and also going into perimenopause and menopausal experience as well. So it kind of really bridges both of those worlds. It's fantastic for creating that sense of balance in your everyday life and a bit of relaxation as well. So this is a really another beautiful oil to apply to a foot bath as well. Also note that clary sage is a must-have if you're a pregnant mama going into labour. I would have that on hand to diffuse. I had clary sage diffusing when I gave birth to my eldest daughter, Aurora, and it was a really beautiful support. You can actually apply that topically with a carrier oil of your choice and apply that during your surges during labour. Geranium is known as the oil of love and trust. It helps to awaken the heart space, so we can apply that diluted onto the heart to really bring us in to that level, particularly if you're feeling disconnected from your heart. Maybe you've been, you know, in the logical world, too much in your mind, very much in the masculine energetics of doing, providing, and, you know, doing all the things. It's just coming into that state of being. It's a really nurturing feminine oil. It's quite an interesting scent. You know, it's got a few kind of subtle overnotes to it, I find. Well, that's how I pick up on it anyway. It's really fantastic for beautifying the skin, so you can apply that to your skincare routine. It's quite grounding as well, and really beautiful to use around the time of menses as well. So clary calm, if you are a bleeding cyclic women, This is a blend that you must have on hand. Now, I'm a woman that doesn't experience menstrual cramping anymore. I used to in my teens. They were debilitating until I learnt about the women's mysteries and womb wisdom and connected with that a little bit more. And now I don't experience those crampings. I have heard that it's fantastic for alleviating that tension that we find in the uterus and the womb around our bleed and leading up to. But my experience with Clary Calm, and this is just recently, I'm in my 30s, 3 children, and it's kind of took me by surprise when I noticed that leading up to my bleed, I started to get really snappy and my hormones felt like they were out of whack. And I'd never experienced that before. I'd never experienced those intense mood swings, or I didn't really know how to identify with it. And I was like, oh, Clary Calm. So what I actually do is I apply this to the between my shoulders at the back of my neck on the vagus nerve as well. And I found that within 5 to 10 minutes, it was like a it was this softening, kind of came back into my body. I apologized from getting really grouchy at my family. And I was like, whoa, who was that woman? I don't really like her. So it was really beautiful that I had this fantastic blend on hand that I could use. It was simple to use. I just rolled it on, and that I could come back into a state of my authentic expression. I actually have made up a blend of Clary Calm. My 10-year-old is prepubescent at the moment, so we're experiencing those intense volatile emotions and mood swings. So I had about maybe about a third left in my Clary Calm, and then I topped it up with some more fractionated coconut oil so that now she has her own blend on hand. Whisper is the oil of femininity. It's a really sweet, musky scent. The interesting part about essential oils too, if you're wearing them topically, is they actually change the way that we experience the aroma on each different body. And the reason being is that, you know, we have different diets, we secrete different oils, and they all affect the way that our body responds to the essential oils and the aroma that we actually emit as well. So that's really important to know with your perfume blends as well, because you could make up a roller blend and it smells, you know, really fantastic on you and you love it, and then put it on somebody else and it smells different as well. And I find that this is the same with Whisper. I am not a big fan personally of Whisper, but I actually like to use it for its therapeutic quality. So it really helps to calm and soothe my emotions, and it's a healthy hormone support as well. So I actually apply it to the bottom of my feet because I'm not really keen on a musk. I've never really liked musk growing up. So if you do like musk, most women rave about this oil, but for me personally, meh. So I just apply that to the bottom of my feet. So just know, in any of the oils that you don't really take a fancy of the smell, the bottom of the feet is where it's at, and that you can still get the therapeutic benefits from using the oils. Melissa is lemon balm. Yeah, I used to grow lemon balm in my garden. It's called the oil of light. It really connects us to our divine feminine and our authentic expression. It is really fantastic to help support any menstrual problems. So if you're feeling like you've got a bit of an irregular bleed, bloating, cramping, any things like that, we can use that and apply that topically onto our womb space to help us support during our bleeding. Melissa also has some antidepressant qualities as well. So if you feel like you go through that hormonal dip, you know, we're kind of feeling really amazing. That's usually around the time of ovulation when we want to be out in the world. And then we'll, just before our bleed, we'll go through that little bit of a retreating space. And then during bleed, we kind of go inwards. Around that time, and usually sometimes just after women have their bleed, sometimes there's a little bit of a lull. And we don't quite feel in our optimum state. Melissa's a really beautiful oil to help support you through that, and to not get swept up in analyzing the story of it too much. Yeah. So jasmine is my favorite oil. It's up there. Sandalwood is my second one. So it's the oil of sexual purity and balance. I actually have a couple of different species of jasmine planted around my garden so that when they bloom, it permeates my space. It's really beautiful for promoting feelings of joy and peace. It's really reassuring. and I applied it yesterday. So doTERRA's just released the Jasmine Touch, which is available through the US store. I was in tears. It awoke something in me, and it just brought me back into, wow, life doesn't need to be so hard, and that I can create ease and flow. And it kind of penetrated that space for me in a beautiful, gentle, and reassuring way. It really brought me back into my creative capacity and the way that I choose to live my life. Yeah. It's also been known to be a powerful uterine tonic as well. So you can be using that um, in preparation to your bleeding as well. And I would actually be using that postpartum as well, because it is so beautiful, gentle, and nurturing, just applying that to the womb space to give thanks to your womb for creating life, and to offer that gentle support as it, goes back into its normal size. So rose oil, again, doTERRA has created the Rose Touch now so that we can have that accessible to us. Rose is one of those oils that is super powerful in many different ways. So it's fantastic for cleansing and grounding. It's used in a lot of skincare, so add that to your skincare regime. As I mentioned earlier, it has been used ceremoniously for a long time in many different cultures as well, because of the high vibrational quality. And rose has been revered because of its intoxicating aroma. It is associated with the feminine, the heart of the flower. If we watch the rose blooming, it's very feminine in the way that it opens and receives. So it's a really beautiful and powerful oil to come back into that state of divine love and connect to your femininity and who you are at your core essence. Yeah. Fantastic to use ceremoniously to connect everybody with the heart and that sense of empowerment that is love moving through everybody. It's a great reminder of who you are and the power that you have in this lifetime to consciously choose the life that you want to live. And finally, with the oils, I really wanted to share about myrrh. So it's known as the oil of Mother Earth. Now, myrrh, you might remember, was one of the gifts given to in the biblical stories of baby Jesus. So frankincense and myrrh were actually gifted. Myrrh is really cleansing and grounding. So if you're an empath, you're highly sensitive, energetic, I'd be working with your on guard, your lemongrass, and your myrrh as well as your tea tree. They're the really supportive, energetic blends to create that stronghold and connection to the land, to earth, to really bring you in, to be present in your body, and to also get rid of any other negative energy or discordant energy which might not actually be yours and just stuff that you've picked up along the way. It's fantastic to use in ceremony as well. So traditionally, myrrh, the resin, was actually placed on hot coals, and they would use it, pretty sure, in a lot of Jewish and Arabic ceremonies to invoke this mystical spiritual energy as well. So it can be a little bit otherworldly working with it on that level. It's really powerful anti-everything, antifungal, anti-parasite. It's been known for apparent anti-cancer qualities as well, same as frankincense really. So now I'm just going to move on quickly for tools for personal empowerment. So how can you use your oils aside from knowing that they're there and you've got them in your bottles that you can diffuse them? A really beautiful way is to make your own aromatic jewelry, or you can purchase them online. There's so many people and women that are making really beautiful diffusing necklaces and jewelry and rings. There's all sorts of stuff. I've even seen earrings and hair clips as well. I really love to encourage women to work intuitively with their oils. And a really beautiful practice is to have your oils laid out and to tune into each bottle. So placing your hand on them and seeing if you notice a difference. You can place your hand on your heart at the same time, so you're kind of creating an energetic circuit between you and the oils, and asking, what does my body need right now? And noticing the subtle responses that you may get. Of course, if you've been working with cultivating your intuition over time, you may get stronger responses for that. So we can diffuse them in the home, office, yoga, meditation, dance, creative expression, whatever. Just don't forget that we have these really beautiful tools to use, and they're on hand. And the plants are yearning for us to help us come back into that state of empowerment and to also help empower other people as well. I love to use them ceremonially, so I love to anoint my ceremonial tools. That includes my medicine drums, singing bowls, my bells, and I also use them in my ritual magic work as well, and that includes a lot of blood magic too. Blood being menstrual blood. I'm not out there sacrificing goats or anything. So an important, I guess, thing to come back to for all women, myself included, is to come back into that state of self-love and care is the fundamentals for all personal empowerment. And why do we want to be personally empowered? Well, when we're empowered, we're in our true, authentic state of being, loving, and giving. And when we come into that expression, we connect with people more truly, more authentically, and we encourage the same in others. We encourage the goodness in others. That's what empowerment means. It means taking personal responsibility, first and foremost, for your own choices and your actions, and then giving your body and yourself what is necessary to cultivate that state of gratitude and love and to nurture and support yourself. Yeah. So doTERRA is a beautiful company that provides us with many different alternatives to create that. So we've got supplements, skincare, there's the spa range, hair care, natural cleaning, hygiene products, and of course we've got our essential oils. So I quickly want to talk about the lifelong vitality supplements. If you haven't heard about this, I encourage you to do some research. These have changed my world. I was so totally, and I mean totally, anti-supplement. Like, I did not agree with them. I was like, why do we need supplements? We can just get everything from our diet. Whilst I'd done my permaculture course and I'd understood that, our soils are depleted and a lot of farming practices aren't actually giving the plants quality nutrients. So that's why we need to supplement. I was still sitting on the fence with it. And I also had quite a psychologically abusive experience with supplements and feeling coerced and forced to taking them until I claimed my power back with that. I'm not going to go into my story with that, but that created a strong impulsive resistance to supplements. And yeah, I was quite negative in them. And then, of course, journeying with doTERRA, I was like, it took me a couple of months. It was about 4 months in. I was like, oh, maybe I should try this. Everybody's having these amazing experiences. I'll give them a go. So I'm a breastfeeding mother. I'm on the tail end now, about to start consciously weaning my daughter. But when I started these oils, I was, still pretty much exclusively breastfeeding. My youngest daughter hadn't taken to food. She's a total booby monster. So I was completely depleted, in full-on adrenal fatigue. Unfortunately, as sweet as my little Luca is, she would not sleep for longer than 2 hours at a time. So I was in that constant state of depletion as a breastfeeding mother. If anyone's experienced, it really takes its toll on you physically, mentally, and emotionally. So I decided to I was in that level of I didn't know what else to do. So I reached for the supplements. After 4 days of taking them, I noticed a dramatic difference in my mental clarity. It felt like the mental fog that I had just been consumed by lifted. And then over time, using them, after about a month, I had more increased energy and stamina to get through the day with my 3 children. And because I'm critically minded, as I mentioned before, and I like to test things, I don't jump on bandwagons and I take things at face value. I actually went off the supplements for a week and I was like, I don't want to share, tell people to use these supplements just because I'm doing doTERRA now. I need to know that they actually work or don't work. I don't want to trick myself into thinking they work because I'm loving doTERRA. So I went off them and I noticed the difference the next day. It was like a boom, full-on crash for me that I was like, wow, these are actually supporting my body with the nutrition and the energy that I actually require to function optimally. And then, after I wean, of course, then I can come into a full thriving space once I don't have that dependent on me anymore. So I really want to share that doTERRA's lifelong vitality supplements are actually the best-selling product of the company. It's not the essential oils, it's actually these supplements. The beautiful part about these supplements in Australia, they are a registered supplement. doTERRA went to the lab for, I think it was an extra year, to meet the TGA standards. TGA means the Therapeutic Goods Association. And doTERRA stands by this product so much that they will actually offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on the supplements. So if you feel like they're not working for you, you can send them back and get your money returned. That's fantastic. And I think that's pretty much amazing to know that this company stands for integrity. They stand for transparency with their testing and purity, and they also actually create quality products that help support people, and they stand behind that 100% of the way. So now I've got some little treats for you, some Wise Woman blends that I have created intuitively. What I have learnt, and this might be a little bit too shamanic or woo-woo for some people, but it is my truth, and this is the difference of who I am in the world and how I work with the oils. What I have noticed is when I started working with doTERRA essential oils, they activated something in me. I came into a deep state of remembering of, whew, I know this stuff. And yeah, I've done aromatherapy modules in my massage degree, many years ago, but it was something deeper, and it was something that I couldn't quite place my finger on, and I just decided to keep going with it. And what I'm finding now is that I'm remembering things about shamanic and ceremonial ritual applications for using essential oils, particularly working with women, working on the emotional level with the limbic system for transformational healing, and encouraging people to activate their intuition by working with these plants. The plants are calling us. Mother Earth is calling us to connect with her. And this is a really easy, simple, effective, and cheap way that we can do it, as a lot of us are quite busy. A lot of us don't have the space or the time to be creating our own tinctures and oils. I, for one, do not. I would love to. That might come in my later years. But for now, I have these beautiful plant medicines that I can go to whenever I need them, and it's already done and connected to beautiful communities all around the world that is creating change. So it's really beautiful to be a part of something bigger than that. And the fantastic part about that, and why I mention it, is when you start to work with the oils intuitively, you're actually connecting with the people and the land where these plants are grown. So never underestimate the power of connection that we have through our oils, and to go with what your body is telling you and what you're called to work with, obviously doing it safely. So this is a blend that I have called I Am Luscious. I love power statements. They really kind of snap us into the moment. So this is a really beautiful blend to add into a roller bottle for a perfume, and you can top it up with a natural carrier oil. It's got the passion, neroli, jasmine, frankincense. So this is going to connect you into your vibrance, your lusciousness, your beautiful feminine expression, a bit saucy, bit savvy. It's a really beautiful perfume to wear when you're ovulating and you're out there in the world and you're like, yes, I am here. I feel safe. I am claiming space. I will be seen. I will be heard. I am luscious. I am determined. Elevation, peppermint, and frankincense. This is a diffuser blend. I would have this diffusing in my space when I'm feeling a little bit in the realms of fear, which is related to my procrastination, where I know I kind of need to push on through, but I'm like a little bit scared, a little bit feeling intimidated of my own power for showing up. I Am Determined helps me snap out of that, and it also connects me to my bigger why for my personal purpose work. And I'm determined to see those dreams through. I am determined to fulfill my obligations in this lifetime of what I know I am meant to be and how I am meant to serve. So this is a blend that helps me stay on the path. I Am Blissful. 2 drops of peace and 5 drops of citrus bliss. I would encourage you to add this to a diffuser. If you find peace is a little bit overwhelming, you of course adjust all of these blends, these mixes, to your own liking, yeah? And this is just a really beautiful blend to put you into that space of grace and ease and flow, where life doesn't need to be a challenge all the time. And I think that's something we really need to remember, is that, wow, it's okay to give yourself permission for life to be easy. It's okay to give yourself permission to create a blissful state of being, even if everybody around you is not feeling that. It's okay for you to take your power back into yourself and hold that vibration in your body, and hold that so that you can show others a clear reflection of how they can be and the true essence of who they are when they're in that state of peace and bliss and connection to self. I am vibrant. Peppermint, wild orange, frankincense, and lemongrass is a beautiful roller blend that I've made up. Because it's got the wild orange into it, you want to apply that where the sun don't shine. I actually like to apply this underneath, like where the sternum area, like almost underneath my breast, but not quite underneath, because I get a bit sweaty under there. um, but the beautiful part, if you're working with perfume blends, is you want to apply them somewhere where you're getting heat. Another great spot is at the back of the neck or the base of the hairline. So the peppermint is a really powerful clearing, driving oil. The wild orange is the oil of abundance. It's uplifting. It's called, the oil of joy, in the sense of to really snap you out of all the woe is me and the dramatic stories that we can tell ourselves. And sometimes we slip into drama unnecessarily and we create suffering for ourselves, and we don't need to. Frankincense is the one to keep us clear and connected, to remind ourselves of who we are, that we are divine beings of love, light, and truth, and we are here to experience that in the world. We are here to embody that. And lemongrass in there is just to kind of clean out the muck, and also to create that earthy sweetness as well. Lemongrass really connects us with the sweetness of life. Love and light in the dark. This is a really beautiful blend for anybody that's doing some shadow work, whether you're doing it intentionally or you feel like you're in a little bit of a healing crisis, or you're really in that dark night of the soul. Got bergamot in there for the self-acceptance, balance to keep you in alignment and come back into that equilibrium, into that pure state of being. A drop of lemongrass, as I mentioned before, just to kind of clear out any of the other debris that may not actually be yours. Forgiveness, to forgive the self for any path of creation in this, or the manifestation processes that can bring upon undesirable experiences. And the ylang ylang as well, to just connect with our sensuality and our creativity and the inner child. Yes, this is a beautiful supportive blend as well. Apply it to the wrists, the heart, the back of the neck, or the soles of the feet, and journey with that. And I would actually be speaking to each individual oil or the blends in that, and journeying with extracting the medicine from them individually. So calling upon the plant spirits in that realm as well. Womb activation. So we've got 2 drops of rose, geranium, ylang ylang, passion, and clary sage. I would be applying this all over and loving myself up after a shower, just like getting that gorgeous energy flowing, and just stepping into your state of sensual expression and that alluring energy of the feminine that we actually can tap into anytime at will, that we can tap into our radiance. There is great power in that. Power that we can help transform people's lives, power that we can move through things more quickly, power that we can share beauty in the world, and also remind other women to connect with that part of themselves as well. Yeah, we don't go into this energy for any purposes of manipulation. That is an absolute no-go, because it is a really powerful energy to awaken, particularly the womb wisdom. So we just want to be working in that nurturing, supportive, and giving energy to give outwards into the world. Awaken the Dreamer. This is a really beautiful blend for those creative people that want to tap into their purpose work or to receive more symbolism, particularly if you're into lucid dreaming. So we've got frankincense, myrrh, clary sage, and arbor vitae. I love arbor vitae. It is such a beautiful oil. Add this to the diffuser before bedtime, but you can also make it up in a roller bottle, and I would apply that to the wrists, the neck, and the soles of the feet. And I encourage you to keep a dream journal beside your bed, and you can actually actively participate in your dreaming to go work with your subconscious in that level, to ask it what you need to know, what you're not seeing. Ask your subconscious to reveal to you things that you need to know, to process, and that way you'll start to have more symbolic and lucid dreams as well. Simply sensual. So we've got ylang ylang, melissa, jasmine, rose, and geranium. This is a really beautiful, graceful energy to really awaken your beauty, your sensual expression in the world, that is simply you being in flow, in that movement energy. I would apply this to a roller bottle as perfume, and I'd actually start to dance these oils through. Move your body and focus on your feminine curves, your suppleness, how voluptuous you are, and really connect with being a woman and how beautiful it is to be in this body and in this time, and give your body some love. Really love it up with your fingertips and connect with every single part of your body so that you can claim full residence inside yourself. And you'll find that the more you connect with your body and nurture, love, and support that, the more you'll awaken your sensual expression, your radiance, the more you will feel so at peace with who you are, the more you will be ready to show up fully and unashamedly in the world. Forget the funk. We've got forgive, frankincense, and bergamot. If you're really feeling down and out, in a depressive state, feeling overwhelmed, you have lots of feelings of anxiety or a lot of tension, even stress, you're just not feeling yourself, like something's not right, you might not be able to pinpoint it. Well, the good news is you don't have to analyze it too much. We can create analysis paralysis. We can work with our oils to support us in this way. So I would actually make this up in a roller ball and apply that to my heart and give myself the love that I need to give, and especially working on that inner child as well, and connecting with her and give her the love and support that she needs to feel safe, seen, and acknowledged and supported in this world, because they're really, really powerful conscious awareness practices that we can come to bring us into our optimum state of being. Abundant mind, so we've got rosemary, frankincense, and wild orange. Add this to your diffuser if you want to focus on manifesting your dreams and creating and achieving your goals. So this is to do with success work, whatever success means for you and however that applies to your life in this time. This is going to really kind of awaken and activate that focus necessary to really bring that through. So for those of you that are loving all of this and you're like, oh my God, how do I get these oils into my life? How do you begin? Well, for those of you that are interested in journeying with me, I will let you know how to join in that. If somebody hasn't invited you to this call or has been working with you already to establish that relationship, there'll be a doTERRA wellness advocate. If they've gifted you samples before, please go back to them and ask them how they can support you on your journey. If that's through the web and you don't have that physical contact, I do also encourage people to get a feel for who they want to journey with. And the reason being is that doTERRA came into my consciousness through somebody else and I didn't resonate with them. So it allowed me to look into doTERRA, but it wasn't until Leonie Dawson added me into a group I found myself in there, and then it was like, whoa, okay, I've really got to look at this. There's a few other mystical experiences that I had with the oils. So I just want to share that as well, particularly with how the online web works. You really want to be connecting with a wellness advocate so that they can support you through this journey. So always go back to the original person that has supported you. So if that's me, There's two ways that you can join. The first one is that you can select an enrollment kit. Now, they are the most effective and the wisest decision you can make in starting your doTERRA journey. And the reason being is because they're bundled together, you usually get a diffuser as well, and you're saving so much money at the start by having them bundled in an enrollment kit. The other way that you can join option 2 is you can actually start with a $35 membership fee and you get to choose whatever you want. Now that's awesome. For some people, I have had a lot of people that have joined my doTERRA team that way. All I need to say on that is that you've got your $35 membership fee. Your only obligation to create your wholesale account is that you need to purchase one product in that year to keep your account active, and then you'll have a $25 renewal fee, and they usually give you a free bottle as well. I'm speaking in Australian dollars here. This will be different depending on what country you live in as well. So if you're looking at journeying with the kits, the Diamond kit is the biggest kit that they have on the market. So this is for those people that are totally feeling called, that they want it all, that they're like, oh my goodness, I've been waiting for this. I want in. I want to revolutionize my health and wellness journey for myself and my family. Or perhaps you are a facilitator like me and journeying with supporting other people. This is a fantastic kit. The reason being is you've pretty much got every product there, and you're saving so much money. Plus, I've got all these rewards points that you get back as well. I won't go into too much detail into that. I'm happy to support you in learning a little bit more about that kit and how that works for you as well. The second largest kit that they have is the Every Oil kit. Again, this is a really beautiful kit to start with, to really kickstart your essential oil lifestyle journey, to get most of the oils in your hands now rather than having to wait. If you've got the budget to do so, I totally recommend going down that route. Unfortunately, when I started, I was on a pension, so I started with where my budget was at, and I'm so grateful that I had that entry point to do it. But in hindsight, had I had the money, I totally would have joined in with the larger kits because of the rewards that you get from those. In Australia, the largest kit that we have access to is the oil sharing kit. This is a really beautiful kit. Particularly, it's got a lot of double ups of really common oils that you will use as well, plus you get your diffuser. The Nature's Solution or Natural Solutions kit, it varies depending on the country that you're in, so please have a look at the different products that are in it. This is an Australian kit here. I think this is a fantastic mid-range kit for support. It's got a lot of the oils that I've kind of shared in this presentation as well to help support you for creating energetic boundaries and for your health and wellness as well, and to help balance and support your emotions. So it's a really beautiful kit. Plus, it's got the hormonal support in there as well, and you get access to the On Guard range for cleaning and stuff. I really love the On Guard toothpaste and cleaners and hand wash. I've totally got rid of all my other soaps and stuff as well, so it's really awesome. The main kit that most people opt in with, this is very family friendly in the sense that it's quite affordable for most budgets. In Australia, it's $330, that's plus postage. This gives you the 10 most common oils that we use, plus you get a diffuser. Most people start out with this kit. I would thoroughly recommend this one rather than they do have a smaller kit called the Essentials Collection, which is about just over half of the price. The reason being is because you get 15 ml oils in this one, whereas the other one you only get 5 ml oils. So you'll find that you'll run through those oils rather quickly. The Emotional Aromatherapy kit, this is a really beautiful kit. This is the one that I actually joined with. And what was beautiful is that because I'm quite an emotional person, I work with Emotional Alchemy. I was like, yeah, I'm going to get this kit. And in hindsight, I totally should have started with the Home Essentials kit. There was a $20 difference. It was a bonus month for me. This month in America, there is a bonus month. So if you're purchasing that Home Essentials kit, you'll qualify for 3 extra oils, which is the Citrus Bliss, the Balance, and the Serenity or the Lavender Peace, which is pretty cool promo to have. But yeah, I started with this kit and I found that I actually used the Home Essentials oils more regularly than I did the emotional support. And the reason being is because I have a lot of other modalities that I use myself to create that emotional resilience. So I felt that I wasn't using these oils as much, although I did love having them on hand. So if you're feeling called to journey with me, you can head over to my website, which is donnaraymond.com.au/essential oils. You can find out some more information there. And I've got some special bonuses this month for anybody that is choosing to enroll with me or anybody in my team. So if you're not sure if they're in my team, if it's a wellness advocate that has invited you into listening to this presentation, just ask them the question. So I have been busily working away at creating an emotional alchemy with essential oils e-course. I love creating e-courses. I love creating transformational journey work for people. So that's available on my wisewoman.com website. So that's for purchase for anybody else that's not in my team. But if you want to journey and join my team this month, if you enroll with a home essentials kit or bigger, I'm going to be gifting that to you for free, which is pretty awesome. So all you need to do is 2 weeks after you enroll, you just send me over your email address, and then I can create a student account for you that way. And super exciting. So for anybody that wants to join with me personally, that is feeling called to enroll with me, and you're really committed about like creating a strong sense of an essential oil lifestyle, and you want to weave these plant medicines into your world, whether that's your personal life or you want to weave it in with your business, and you are dedicated to helping support other people, particularly other women in your community. And if you want to journey with starting with one of those bigger kits, then I'm going to be gifting you the Essential Oils e-course and also the Sacred Circle Secrets e-course that I have created, which is my feminine leadership training. So this is to help you learn how to facilitate your own women's circles and red tents with confidence. And the beautiful part about this is you can bring in your essential oils to help support women in these spaces. So I've been working in women's circles for many years now, and I created this course because I had noticed that there were a lot of women's circles that weren't safe, and that the facilitators stepping in were not holding a strong, safe container for women's emotional and mental health and well-being. And I'm really vigilant about creating that. So I created this training so that women can learn how to facilitate that with ease and to start sharing now. And if anybody with a diamond kit, this is like super out there bonus. So I was like, how can I give back? I'm really generous. I love giving back. I love supporting. So for anybody that wants to join with me with the diamond kit, you will get the Emotional Alchemy e-course. You'll get the Sacred Circle Secrets e-course. Plus, I will be gifting a 90-minute mentoring session. Now, I haven't been doing these in over a year, and it's one of those things that I really guard with who I share that online space with. So if you want to get clear on your purpose work and how to use your oils and to create a soul-based business, I'm totally here to support you 100% of the way, and I'm happy to do this quick drop-in. I'm really amazing support at creating visionary ideas. They just come through me easily, and the beautiful part about that is I can share them with people, knowing that it helps to empower other people to birth them and create them in their own way in the world, because I love to know that this work is getting out there. It doesn't have to come through me. That's the beautiful part about helping to empower other people as well. I'll also send you a beautiful handmade aromatic bracelet and 10 roller bottles to help get you started. So I wish someone offered me that when I started. I would have been like, hell yeah, girl, totally all over that. So that makes my heart sing with being able to create these bonuses for people. Of course, it's if you're feeling called to do it, jump on that. I am here to support you. Again, head over to my website, donnaraymond.com.au/essential oils. I would love to journey with you in supporting you, and even if you're not on my team, I would love to connect with you. The beautiful part about doTERRA is that it has a strong heart-based supportive culture, and that's what I am vigilant in upholding. As a wellness advocate, I am here to support people in many different ways with the capacity that I have, and I know that together we can change the world one drop at a time. So I want to say thank you so much for staying on the call with me. I'm just going to check the chat. I'm going to stop the recording here. Where is it? Learning about technology is fun, isn't it? Bear with me a second. Stop. Okay, here I am. I'm just going to check